You've probably heard of the ice cream brand Havmor. Chances are you have picked up a tub of their ice cream from your local Kirana store at some point, or maybe even stopped at one of their carts during a drive with your family growing up. The 80-year-old brand is steeped in nostalgia, and the family behind the brand, the Gujarat based Chona family, is now nothing short of ice cream royalty. Particularly after they sold Havmor to South Korean food conglomerate Lotte for a cool 1,020 crore rupees back in 2017. Instead of kicking up their feet and enjoying the good life, the Chona family is now back for more. After the Lotte deal, third generation Havmor family scion Ankit Chona waited out a 5-year non compete clause and is now back to do what he does best. Over the last few years, Chona has been building Hoko, which he describes as a new age ice cream brand. And if Hoko's rapid success is anything to go by, he really hasn't lost his touch. The company was launched last October and has already earned 35 crore rupees as of FY24. It is now aiming for a monthly revenue of 20 crore by FY25. And here's what's interesting. Despite having the tremendous Havmor legacy behind it, Hoko is an outlier in many ways. Let me explain. You see, it's a great time to run an ice cream brand. The Indian ice cream market is booming, and VCs are all swooping in looking for the next big brand to back. Now, the thing is, in the last couple of years, guilt free dessert has become a big thing. So, a lot of the ice cream brands that have emerged over the last couple of years have gone down that route. Think Noto, Go Zero, Getaway. In all likelihood, you've come across some of them on Blinkit or Instamart whenever you've been looking for a midnight snack. But healthy ice cream just isn't Chona's thing. He has ditched the health conscious route and instead is positioning Hoko as a guilty pleasure, an indulgence, which some would argue ice cream was always meant to be. And that's not the only thing Hoko is doing differently. From pricing to distribution, it is very quickly proving that sometimes the old fashioned way really, really works. So, in this episode, we delve into the Hoko story. Welcome to Daybreak, a business podcast from The Ken. I'm your host Rahil Philippos, and I'll be joining Snigdha Sharma every week to bring you one business story that is worth understanding and worth your time. Today is Tuesday, the 30th of July. The story behind how Hoko was named is actually pretty interesting. You see, like with any business, an ice cream brand needs to have a name that stands out. So, generally, what happens is that the name of an ice cream brand hints either at the ingredients they are made out of or their market positioning. So, for instance, Getaway implies that the ice cream contains whey protein. Or you have Naturals, which hints at the fact that the ingredients are largely all natural and chemical free. But in this department too, Hoko founder and chairman Ankit Chona decided not to go down that road and do his own thing. He looked at as many as 200 options for his second venture. And at one point, he even entertained the idea of calling it Chonas. But he finally landed on Hoko, which loosely stands for House of Chona. He describes it as a bunch of letters strung together into a one-word name that has a zing to it. But even though he may have picked out a rather unconventional name, Chona's approach to the business is still rooted in tradition. So like Havmor, Hoko introduces 3 new flavors every single month. Typically, one is fruit-based, one is Indian-inspired, and one is more of a chocolate-based Western flavor. And all of this is very deliberate because the thing is, Hoko is addressing a very specific white space in the Indian ice cream market. Yash Dholakia, partner at VC firm Sauce VC, puts it pretty simply. He says that there's a certain amount of brand fatigue that has set in with the likes of Amul, Vadilal, and even Havmor, all of which are decades-old legacy brands. So there is a craving for an ice cream company designed specifically for the new age Indian consumer. So, to fill that gap, Hawco has relentlessly been innovating for the new age customer. In the process, it has come up with some cool experimental ice creams, like its unexpected hit, Charcoal Lychee. Sales for this particular flavor tripled in May 2024 compared to its debut last November. So, in the flavors department, Hawco clearly knows what it's doing. But Chona says balance is everything. Hawco understands that relentless experimentation can sometimes isolate the paying customer. So it's all about striking the balance between creative combinations and identifying what will sell. And striking that balance is exactly what is making Hawco work. It's working hard to appeal to mainstream taste buds. Chona says Hawco's future flavors will also cater more to Indian taste buds. Now, if Hawco continues down this path, it's likely that it will always be in a league of its own. That's because industry upstarts like Go Zero and Noto Healthy Ice Cream may grab VC attention by focusing on the calorie-conscious eater, but their market is a fraction of the larger, more mainstream ice cream sector. Basically, ice cream is and always will be an indulgence, and for it to be accepted by the Indian masses, it has to be tasty and sweet. And Hawco fits the bill. But while its ice cream making may be old school, its sales strategy is anything but. More on that in the next segment. Picture this. You've just had a really great, heavy family lunch. And once you're done, you're all craving something sweet. Back in the day, you may have sent someone across to the local Kirana store to buy a quick tub of ice cream. But now things are different. You don't have to go anywhere anymore. You can simply order ice cream on a quick commerce app of your choice, and voila, it ends up at your doorstep in a matter of minutes. New age ice cream brands very quickly caught on to that trend. For most of them, a majority of its sales come from quick commerce. But the thing is, quick commerce platforms alone can't build brands. They help with discoverability, but eventually, because of slim margins, it becomes unsustainable for newer companies to stay afloat. Meanwhile, Hawco sells ice cream cups at about 15 rupees. So it positions itself as a no-frills mainstream ice cream company. But quick commerce doesn't work for Hawco. That's because they generally have little interest in selling budget-friendly ice creams. So in a meeting with employees at a major quick commerce company, Chona conducted a blind taste test. Participants were asked to choose between a Hawco ice cream priced at 40 rupees in general trade and a similar ice cream listed on their platform at 3 times the price. Despite choosing Hawco's product, pricing remained a pain point. Chona explained that earning a 35% profit on a rupees 40 product versus a rupees 100 product was economically not feasible for quick commerce companies. But he recognizes that quick commerce is important. So moving forward, while maintaining their commitment to innovation, Hawco has to develop a product that fills this gap. The bottom line is, with Hawco, Chona wants to do what he couldn't do with Havmor. He wants to take it public. And that's a big dream to have. You see, at present, Hawco's Ahmedabad neighbor, Vadilal Industries, stands as India's only listed pure-play ice cream company, with a profit growth over the last 5 years. Others include Chennai-based Hudson Agro Products, primarily a dairy company that also produces the Arun ice cream brand across southern Indian states. But now is exactly the right time to be an ambitious founder of an ice cream brand. The message is clear for the likes of Hawco. Scoop up the opportunity before it melts away.
Daybreak is produced from the newsroom of The Ken, India's first subscriber-focused business news platform. What you're listening to is just a small sample of our subscriber-only offerings. A full subscription unlocks daily long-form feature stories, newsletters, and podcast extras. Head to theken.com and click on the red subscribe button on the top of the website. Today's episode was hosted by Rahil Philippos, produced by me, Snigdha Sharma, and edited by Rajiv CN.